welcome to the online teaching week 5 update. So I know I've said from the beginning that my expectation is that everything is eventually just going to get better, and every week it does get better, like little by little, but I was kind of expecting like one week just to have it all together and it's going to be great, and that hasn't happened. But this week has been better. So last week I mentioned that one of the biggest shifts I made was just putting my phone in the bathroom so that in the morning when my alarm went off, I would get up and just be right there and I could start brushing my teeth right away and not spend like 20 to 30 minutes laying in bed scrolling through social media. So it made such a big difference last week, and it continued to make a big difference this week. Last week I was working on a fitness challenge. This week I had to stop because I injured myself. So I was able to just basically get up, get ready, and then come downstairs and start working. I've always been a morning person, so it's easy for me just to sit down and focus on a task. So now I'm just focusing on getting stuff done for school, and this time is invaluable to me. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, it's so great, I can sleep in. I have a toddler, so I don't really get to. Toward the beginning of everything that was happening, he was waking up at like 6:30, which was earlier than normal for him, and I think it was just because of the change in activity between my husband and I for getting up in the morning. Lately, he's been sleeping until about 8, so now I'm getting like at least an hour and a half of time to get work done once I've like showered and dressed and ate breakfast and all that. So it's been great because I've been able to actually get stuff done. So Monday, my big task was just finishing out planning for this current week. I spent a lot of time on Sunday just preparing for Monday. So Monday was good, and then I had to get Wednesday under control. What made it easier was that in calculus, it's been my hardest class to plan for, we finished our unit, so I wasn't going to give them a test. I know some teachers are giving kids tests online. I'm just not. So I gave them a assignment to do like a unit summary where they just kind of talk about the highlights from the unit in a Google Doc just to keep it simple. So that was actually really easy for me to put together, and it didn't take a ton of time. So starting Tuesday, I was able to plan and prep for this week coming up, which is good because I haven't been able to do that so early before. So Tuesday morning I got up and I got calculus planned for this coming Monday, and I had that done before my son woke up, and then after he woke up I was able to get notes ready for geometry and the Smart Notebook file because I'm doing screencasts on Smart Notebook on my iPad for geometry. So what a calculus lesson looks like is there's a video that students watch. There's a textbook assignment, which usually I have them submit in Google Forms, so it'll basically just be them typing in the answer in short response. And if Google Forms doesn't make sense, then I set up slides so that they can take pictures of their work and upload it onto the slide for the question, and then I can just grade using that, which is not ideal and it takes a lot of time, but sometimes I really just need to see their work, so it really just depends on the topic. I'm also creating annotated notes for calculus, and I have to take pictures of the work that I'm assigning them from the textbook because usually I say your work is textbook page whatever, numbers whatever, so students have to get their textbook to look it up, but some students decided that they didn't have to take them home ever, so I get to take pictures for them. And I also incorporate a daily slide, and I just added in a weekly slide. So I started doing on Tuesday that I hadn't done before was as I completed the lesson, I set everything up for the daily slide and the weekly slide at the same time, so I didn't have to go back on Sunday and rethink through everything that students are going to be doing and needing and using. I'll add a link in the description box to the slides that I'm using, but the daily slide, it gives them an agenda, it gives them links to materials that they need, it tells them what is due, so I like to have everything linked there. When I added in the weekly slides, I also put the links on there. And then when I put the assignment together in Google Classroom, which I also did on Tuesday for the upcoming calculus lesson, I link all that stuff again. And it's a lot. It's 3 different things that I have to do for like this one lesson. But at the same time, I have not had a kid say to me, I don't know where to find X, Y, or Z. So overall, I think it's worth it, and I'm going to continue doing that. But like I said before, I was just waiting till Sunday to make all those like slides for them to find everything. So now that I'm doing it as I go, it's already done and ready for Sunday, and it's just like an extra step as I'm planning a lesson that honestly doesn't feel like an extra step. I feel like it just keeps me really organized. So once I had the slides done and the assignment prepared in Google Classroom, I scheduled it so it goes up Monday morning. I don't even have to worry about it or think about it until I have to grade it. Wednesday morning, I was up at like 3:30ish. My son is getting his 2-year-old molars, and we think that's part of why he keeps waking up in the middle of the night. But also when he wakes up, he wants his pacifier, which we need to get him off the pacifier, but I really don't know how if he cannot make it through the night without it. So there's that. But I've been really tired this week because of that. So Wednesday, I was wide awake, and by 4:30 I said, forget this, I'm just gonna get out of bed and like sit in front of the TV and like leisurely work. So I put on a show and I planned out practice activities for geometry and my other general geometry class so that I could just basically put everything together and have those activities done. After that time of just like watching TV and doing that, I got ready for the day, and then my son was still sleeping because I was up so early. I filmed videos for my 2 geometry classes. I only have one for each of them for this week. And then I had to go to school. So I had the time slot from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and we have to pack up our classroom. Ordinarily, I enjoy packing up my classroom. It's a time to like reflect on the year and just, usually there's like a reward at the end of the year, just seeing how far your students have come, just completing something. And we're not getting that this year, obviously. And I know that's going to be common to everybody. And I know a lot of schools are saying, you know, due to the situation and the fact that we need to social distance, cleaning up your classroom, you have to do it within a certain time frame and all of that. In my school, it's very different because we're not just summarizing our classrooms. We actually have to pack everything up because they're doing extensive construction in the classrooms over the summer. So instead of like leisurely going through things and purging and putting everything away like nice and neat and organized so that I can come back in September and take everything out and put it out how I like, I had to kind of like throw everything into boxes, and it was like a quick thing, just trying to do it as fast as possible because I had that 3-hour time window. I have to completely clean out my bookshelves and my cabinets, and in that day I only got the bookshelves and my desk packed up. The bookshelves are going to be torn down and replaced. The cabinets, I believe, are being torn down, hopefully replaced. I didn't get confirmation on that. So I'm trying to look at it as when we get back to school, I'm going to have like a new classroom kind of, because it'll be different. But it's just stressful because I don't know what that's going to be like. I don't know if we're going to have time in August to set up or if we're even going back to school in September. Everything's just so up in the air, and that causes me stress because I like to plan everything ahead. And on top of that, because I had to pack everything up, it's going to take me way longer to set up than normal. And just thinking about how this school year started, where I couldn't really set up my classroom how I wanted because I was waiting on paint, that kind of threw me off for a good portion of the year. So I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, if my room is in boxes and I have to teach, that's really going to throw me off. So this year packing up my classroom is extremely unsatisfying. After that session of packing up my classroom, I came home and edited the videos that I filmed in the morning, and then I crashed on the couch because I was so tired. Thursday I had 2 meetings back to back. I feel like now that we're doing online teaching stuff, I have so many more meetings. Like we have a discipline committee meeting and math department meeting every week, and these are meetings that we would have once a month, if that, during the school year. So it's just kind of strange to have extra meetings. That's not even the meetings that we had. I had discipline committee, and we had a meeting talking about grades and how to do grading and just more information. And one thing that was kind of surprising is that our 5-week grades are due on the 13th. But we just started the new quarter on like the 14th, so it's only been 4 weeks. It hasn't even been 5 weeks yet. I don't really know what that's about. They didn't explain it because I don't think anyone realized to ask except for me, but I was just keeping quiet, like, okay, whatever you all say. So that day I set up a Google Sheets for standards-based grading, and I have that all set up, and I have my grades in there so far, so like that was good. And now I just have to put those grades onto School Tool, which is what my school uses for grades. So my sheet that I have on Google is just for me to see, and when I put grades into School Tool, then my students and their parents will be able to see their grades as well. Thursday morning I was able to complete calculus for this coming Wednesday, so I'm done planning for calculus for next week. And then on Thursday, a decision that I made going forward was moving my weekly updates from Monday to Friday. So every Monday I've been sending my students a video that I film for them, kind of just like this, just sitting down and running through updates on different things. But on Friday I've been sending them surveys every week, so now they'll be getting the survey along with the update. This week I was in no type of mood to sit down and film a video for them, so I made a slideshow of, I think it's just like 5 very simple updates, mainly like come to office hours and turn your work in when you do it. So I had that go live today. Fridays are considered to be makeup days, so students don't have to do any new work. So I feel like that's better to share that stuff with them on Fridays rather than have it be on Monday, like watch the update video, then watch your lesson video, then do the lesson practice. So now it's on its own separate day, and they can look at it anytime over the weekend that they want, and it doesn't have to be part of Monday. So today, what I've been able to do so far was mostly clean out my classroom. So this morning I got up and got ready and ate breakfast and then went back to the school so that I could finish packing up my classroom, because like I said, I only got the bookshelves and the desk packed up, but I still had all of my cabinets left and just things that don't fit into boxes anywhere. Also, when I was there on Wednesday, I ran out of boxes. So today I was there for like another 4 hours. So it took me 7 hours total to pack up my classroom. And in my mind, I thought that I had purged everything that I did not need, but I feel like it's something that should be done annually. So going forward, I'm definitely going to do that. I have so much stuff, it's unreal. I have so much construction paper, it filled a large box. And construction paper is something that I don't use frequently. So I think I'm gonna keep like a couple packs for myself and my students and then send the rest down to the art teachers, because I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that paper, because I've had 8 years in the school and I have barely made a dent in all the paper that was left there. So then I also found a lot of stuff that was from the previous teacher, and I know I went through everything after my second year. So during this time where I was like cleaning up my classroom, I emptied every cabinet and got rid of a bunch of stuff and organized them, and it's pretty much stayed relatively organized this entire time, but I haven't gone back through to purge anything, and a lot of the stuff that this guy had was really old school. There are a lot of math books that look really interesting and that I would like to read, but I simply don't have the time for that, and I don't know what to do. I think I'll contact our librarian and see if she could take them or something. But the thing is, the math doesn't change. So these books, even though they look like, okay, they're really old, they're still relevant. I just don't know that I need them. It's not like science where we have to go back and change all the textbooks because they decided Pluto wasn't a planet anymore, which I don't agree with, by the way. So pretty much that was my week. It was a good week. I'm just tired from having Russell up so many times every night. And I did not get everything complete for next week, but I'm excited because what I have left to work on is creating practice activities for my geometry classes, and that's something that I enjoy doing. And not just that, but I have them planned out, so I just have to sit down and actually like make the diagrams and put everything together. So it's not going to be difficult. It's something that's going to take a little bit of time, but I might be able to get some more done like later today and tomorrow and be ready for next week. And that's one thing that I really liked about this week, was because I got calculus done and out of the way, which is the one thing I have not been enjoying lately, just because that class is a lot more stressful. Like they still have a final to take and everything. So getting that done and out of the way and having it be that this weekend I get to do something that's more enjoyable to me, I feel much better about that. So that was my week. I hope your week was good or better, and let me know how you're doing in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.